So thank y'all for coming in, man. I appreciate y'all for coming in. So this is the situation. We're looking at black representation in comic books. Distinctively, we got DC Comics and we got Marvel. You know, they're like the Republicans and the Democrats of the comic book industry. So, you know, I put a lot of emphasis on Marvel in general, but if we take a deeper look, we can kind of see what has been going on and what's happening in the Marvel universe when it comes to black representation with these comic book characters. Well, I like to think back. You know, a lot of us, we grew up on these comic books. We grew up just watching these shows and different representations. We love Spider-Man, we love Batman, we love Superman and these characters. Though when it comes to representation as a black American, you know, we really don't think that we got the type of representation that we may feel is we would desire to have. Starting off in these times, you know, you had Luke Cage, we had Black Lightning, and different characters like that. It seems as things developed in time that, you know, now in the woke era, we got a lot of the mainstream characters that they has been now. They want to turn them either black or turn them female. Some people have had issues with this. My take on it is may not be the same as others. You know, some people may say, well, we want new characters. You know, it's not fair to change the race of the characters or the gender of the characters, you know. And I don't make such a big deal about that, but I do understand that to a certain degree. My whole thing is, it's not necessarily that. My whole thing is how is black characters being represented in general? I think that my people and the guy, you know, my brother and other guys, friends that we collected comic books, I think our issue is that, you know, maybe some of the black characters are not as cool as the some of the characters that has been represented, like, you know, powerful as Superman or Batman. And, you know, we had Cyborg, or they turned Green Lantern into a black character at some point in time. Green Lantern is cool, but, you know, I think that, you know, we just didn't, we never had the black characters that had the power and that we really hoped that a lot of these other characters may have had. So, you know, I guess that could put us into the mind state of, you know, maybe we need new characters. So I think about even now as we looked at the film industry and how they've used Marvel in films, and we look at the black characters that's been in that situation, and what comes to mind, one thing that comes to mind is how Marvel has been handling black actors in these movies, one being the Avengers. And we saw how that Don Cheadle is playing War Machine. There was an issue there where it seems that the black actors are able to be switched out with no concern about, you know, the actor that was playing the role originally, you know. And I think that that's just not necessarily an issue in Marvel. That may be an issue with Hollywood in general. And you could check out my other video about that. I have another video that talks about the industry as a whole with as black representation in Hollywood movies as a whole, and also the music industry. But even in, you know, Marvel has not been any exception in this situation, because you know, really the representation of how they switched out the characters and with no concern who the actors are, it's kind of disrespectful to the black actors. I think about you know, how we have the issue with Jonathan Majors, where, you know, he had his situation. He had you know, a court situation that he had, and we've all seen the videos, and many of us, we really didn't necessarily see a crime that happened, you know. But needless to say, he was still convicted and fired from Marvel. And, you know, from my perspective of that is that, you know, when we looked at the latest Ant-Man movie, Jonathan Majors was the best thing that they had going. And I don't think that when we're dealing with the actual of talking about profits and making good films, I'm not necessarily thinking that Marvel that's been their main focus, if you ask me. You know, right now, I've heard rumors that there is certain guidelines and certain standards of, you know, the woke agenda, where there has to be certain characters of this likeness or this of certain genders or race or things like that, and with no concern of really, to me, of actually doing the story the correct way. It doesn't seem to be profitable. It doesn't seem to really, you know, be working, if you ask me, you know. And so that formula, I believe it needs, if that's true, I believe that formula needs to be thrown out the window, because, you know, Marvel lately, the movies that they really been coming with, I think we all know that there's a major problem with the movies as of late. Now we can debate about the latest one, Deadpool, and with Wolverine. We can debate about that one. But I'm talking about before, and I'm talking about even, you know, lately, the overall the films that's been brought out as of late. You know, they have not been done well, if you ask me. But so, you know, Ant-Man being one, you know, going back to that, Ant-Man was a pretty decent film, but you know, in my mind, in reality, Jonathan Majors was the best thing that was going with Marvel. And, you know, the fact that somehow in these times and with the racial bias that's already there, it just seems that, you know, if a black person, in particular a black man, gets in certain problems and certain issues, that you know, there is no recourse, there is no way around it, where there's got to be, you know, they're thrown to the wolves, and it just seems like that's how Marvel treats black men, if you ask me. Now we look at, for instance, let's take a look at this article here. I was looking. It's called "Even with Dr. Doom, Marvel Studios lost its biggest rival at Comic-Con." Now, this is talking about apparently the new reboot of the movie Fantastic Four. Now, I think we all know who they casted for Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr. Now, yeah, you heard people who brought up Robert Downey Jr.'s past, and I'm not so sure if that's the issue that I have with Robert Downey Jr. You know, Robert Downey Jr., when he came to his role as Iron Man, you know, you can't go wrong with that. He did do his thing on that role. I'm not necessarily his past is not the problem that I have. It's just really the problem that my issue is that they're keeping it in the family when it comes to white people. That's my issue. And when it comes to black actors, they can be replaced as if, you know, they never existed. That's my issue. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure if I necessarily want to see Robert Downey Jr. play Doctor Doom. You know, I don't feel it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? But this is just, to me, it's kind of a metaphor of really how the United States has been towards black people. It's not necessarily Marvel. You know, it's just people, when you're dealing with the racial dynamics of this country, you know, typically people take care of their own, you know, and this is no exception. You know, it's just, that's the issue that we having right now. And so when we put all these things together, you know, the idea that the black representation, even when it comes to the characters, are not necessarily on the level that they should be. And also when we're dealing with these corporations who seem to have definitely have a bias against black actors, then, you know, it puts us in a mind of, you know, what are we going to do? The idea is, you know, this is what we're going to do. And this is what I'm doing. I'm going to speak up about it, you know, because in reality, these other people are not going to speak up about it. I bet you if we could get these black actors, and I said this before, if we can get these black actors and if they would really tell you the truth of what's really going on, I'm sure that, you know, you would hear a whole lot of stories of the issues that's happening in Hollywood and in these different, you know, these different corporations, these different companies. But you know what? They can't say anything about it because they're going to ruin their opportunities. They won't be able to be hired. And so people just get along with the get along. And, you know, not here with Dominion. You see, that's what we represent. We represent that Dominion mind state, and we represent that, you know, now we're going to do what we have to do. You know, why are we going to do what we got to do? Because nobody else is going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what this is about. So right now, you know, I'll speak up about it as they won't. And, you know, these issues, you know, they continue to happen, but we're going to, you know, do our own thing and make sure that we put out the right type of material and do our own material and come together and make sure we getting stuff done. You know what I'm saying? And representing correctly. So this ain't really about, you know, what we represent is not really about just all about race. But it's just, it's about really just, you know, being black American. It's just about, you know, representing black America and America in general, you know, because really I think American television needs to get better. American entertainment needs to get better, if you ask me. So these are the issues that we're dealing with here. I don't know what to say about this, you know, this new Fantastic Four reboot and that whole situation. Honestly, man, personally, when it comes to Marvel, when it comes to their movies, you know, I'm a little bit disengaged right now, man. It's just really, you know, I'm not excited about what's going on with these films nowadays. So, you know, that's what it is with me. But we're going to continue to keep talking about it, and hopefully they can, you know, pick things up and get things on the right track. But until then, we're going to keep hitting them over the head and bringing stuff to people's attention of what's going on right now in this industry. So that's it, man. You know, let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. This is just, you know, another situation of what we really used to seeing. But needless to say, we're going to continue to keep moving forward. And, you know, I don't know what type of faith y'all got in Marvel or DC or what y'all got, what y'all believe about this. But just let me know what you think. You know, my hope, I don't know, is not there right now. But I'll see y'all next time, man. Until then, peace.